All right, so that's kind of the basics of the inbox. So let's go back to our home button up here and get back. And then I'm going to show you a few things down below. So take your mouse and go all the way to the bottom to the calendar. Now, calendaring is pretty simple if you just have plain Outlook and you just have basics. So I'm not going to go into calendar in depth because there's really not much to show you unless you're on an Exchange server. And I do cover more in-depth work with the calendar in that video. All right, folks, now I'm going to have you go over to the calendar, and we're just going to jump right in here. And I'm just going to let you know that there's not a lot in calendaring I need to show you because if you've been using Outlook long enough, you probably know the basics of the calendar. I will go into more in depth with the Exchange video, though. But let's go down to contacts, and I do have a few things, which is down here, the people, which I do want to show you. A lot of people don't know. So here you see I'm viewing my contacts in what's called a list view. So your options up here, you can change it to view by people, which this is a new feature for 2013 and 16. Some folks don't like that view because really honestly they don't get to see much, right? So you go up to business card, and that's kind of what people liked because it was default for 2010, which was the most popular one for a long time. Or you can switch it to card, and you see the smaller amount right here. Or you can switch it and go to phone or list. Now list is my favorite because I like seeing more detail in my contacts than just this information. And remember the one thing I was telling you about is you can go to your, got to put your mouse right there to grab that field chooser. And over here, that box keeps moving. You can add more features. Then you see this switched to what's in contacts by default. Okay? So a lot of people have categories and they've got lots of other things within their forms, their custom forms maybe. Right here is where you can add all that to the view up here. So let's just go and add like office location. So if you happen to have used that in the contact, it'll show up right here. A lot of people don't know that, but you do need to be in list view and you do need to have your contacts in order for that to work. Okay, so now I'm going to show you a few things in the contacts, and excuse me, I might have to jump around a little bit, but I want to explain things as it's happening. So let's start first by going up to the upper left here to a new contact group. This actually replaces the distribution list that Outlook used to call it in the old days. Now it's a new contact group. You can create a group by typing in the name of what you want it right there. Add the members. You can go to your contacts and go ahead and select all of them, let's say. Go to members and hit OK. So now these contacts, whatever you choose, are in this group called Rockstars. Save and close it. Now down here you see that there's a little people sign. All right, now let's go to a new email and go open one up. And you start typing Rockstars, and that group is going to come up. And you have a choice here. You can keep it closed or you can expand it. You can also copy and paste it down to the blind carbon copy, the BCC. If you expand it, you can actually see who's in the list, and sometimes you're like, yeah, I don't want that person to get it, so you just go delete them out. They won't get it that time, but they're still in the group. Okay, so now you see how that works. Well, while we're in here, I'm going to skip to another tip. Is these people, now that they've got underlines, they're actually part of what I would call Outlook's like memory. There's a lot of different names for that. It could be auto cache, auto stream, auto complete, but basically if you start typing, you can see people that you've emailed in the past show up, okay? So if you don't want someone in that list anymore because you don't want to email them, you can just click that and they go away. Then all you have is the one person, or most of my clients have hundreds of people in their list. So that's why that list is very important. And if you've upgraded Outlook, these might be missing for you here. And you can get those back. You just need to talk to your technician and they'll help you get those imported in or get a copy of it. But they are still usually available in Outlook. You don't have to start from scratch. So let's close that up here. And let's go close that and go back to the contacts. I want to show you a couple more things. So let's click on Oprah here. And when you double click on Oprah, you can see down here, there's a little tiny, it's very small, little person, and then you can click to expand it. So over here, what this shows is all the stuff that you have in your Outlook that matches up with Oprah, let's say. emails, attachments, meetings in the calendar, and these other features that don't really get used much. This is kind of nice, because if you want to go to her contact and go find all the mail, it will show up here. As you can see, Oprah has never emailed me, so I have nothing in there from her. But this is a nice feature. It was in 2010 called Conversation View, I think, within contacts, but they've changed it now. And just remember, it's right here. You can go ahead and turn it on and off. I do think that that is missing in 2016. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe it's gone. So that's why I like 2013. It's a really nice version. Okay, let's close this up here. And I think we covered everything in the contacts. So we're going to now move on to tasks. Okay, so down here, remember you can change your navigation pane. Let's go to tasks. Now up here in the to-do list is all the things that you have in your inbox that you've set up as follow-up flags. Okay, that's what the to-do list is. The tasks are actually separate, but sometimes they can get convoluted and people get them messed up. But a task is, I mean, if it's your own task, you know, you just click new task and fill in the blanks of what you want. And it's kind of like a mini project manager of sorts. I'm not going to go into detail with this. I do touch upon it in the exchange video though, because it's for teams more. Like you can assign somebody on your team a task and they can accept it. And there's a lot more like mini micromanagement of those, but that's kind of it. This is the big one. The to-do list, that's your follow-up flag stuff. And here's a real task. A lot of my clients do use tasks because it keeps their little to-do items in order. Okay, down below again, we're going to scroll down to the, notes. I have mine set up right here. If you see here, I put a little note right here. Well, the notes are kind of like Post-it notes, and I really like this feature a lot. In the Exchange video, I actually go into more detail about it because this is on the Exchange server also. So if you're watching this video and you want this to synchronize with like your iPhone, it works like magic with the iPhone, but not the Android, okay? But we'll talk about that in the Exchange video. All right, folks, so we're about done with the advanced video here. So before you move on to the super advanced, where I'm going to go into more detail, make sure you stop and practice the basics again and this video again, and just try to at least open your Outlook and follow along to kind of match up with what I'm doing, because the next one is going to get a little more, more in depth, and I want to make sure you know where things are, and you'll just be more familiar with the program at that point. So thank you for watching the advanced video, and I will see you in super advanced next. Thanks.